Hey guys, it's Kevin with the New Warehouse Podcast here at ProMat 2025, and I am in the Concentric booth, and I gotta say this booth has some of the most plush carpeting in the building. Really enjoying my stop here with you guys.
We can
Definitely, we can bounce up a little bit, but we're gonna get some energy here as we're at the booth, right? Oh,
yes.
Kelly hyping it up already. So we're gonna be joined by Kelly Etzkorn and TJ Shelters. They're gonna tell us a little bit about Concentric. They're gonna talk to us about Power Hive, which is right behind us here. And we're also going to hear a little bit about how the last year has gone for Power Hive, what customers are saying about it, and what people are really attracted to about the Power Hive solution at ProMat this year. But first, Kelly, TJ, great to be here with you. Thanks for having me in your booth.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. How's the show going so far?
The show's going great. I mean, we have a ton of customers who are currently looking at the Hive system for their facilities. And for them to be able to see it actually live in action, I think is so important because it almost puts the pieces together for them. And it's also great seeing new companies that we haven't met previously and being able to figure out what their pain points are and how we can help them with that.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think it's a great thing to be able to come here and see the solution, right? It's a great opportunity to do that here at ProMat. But before we talk about the solution, why don't you, one of you, kind of tell us a little bit about just Concentric overall and what it's all about?
Concentric's the nation's largest independent power distribution company, but we're really becoming an energy company today, right? The confines of our customers is not just limited to material handling power anymore. There's brownouts, blackouts, peak charges. So we've got our energy storage division, our critical division. We do backup generation, natural gas, diesel gensets as well. So this is a portion of what we do, but we're starting to look at the customer's facility from the top, right? And how they're distributing their power and then how we can help them save on power. What customers don't think about enough is they have a bunch of employees that are parking their car today. When they electrify, ask a customer, what are you going to do there? Well, they don't know. Right, and their grid's already maxed out. So we start talking about all types of energy solutions with a customer, but that's what Concentric does.
Interesting, all right, so it's all about the power and the energy, right? So now tell us, I guess on the power side, tell us about the Power Hive. What do we see behind us here? What is this?
Yes, so this is our Power Hive today. And the reason we came up with this design, our engineering team, lithium was the hot topic, right? Everyone was saying, let's go lithium, let's go 1-to-1. Well, when we did that, we saw so many issues that came from that. So one of the first issues was, just like TJ mentioned, the power consumption from the grid today. When you all go to lunch and all the operators go to lunch, they plug in. Well, all of a sudden, peak power is going through the roof. Yes. So not only is it a sustainability issue, but it's also the cost of peak power and the cost of that electricity bill starts going through the roof as well. One of the other issues that we saw too is from a real estate standpoint. So now customers who traditionally just did battery swaps quickly, they had a little square footage. Well, now they had to have about 60 square foot per truck, and that took a ton of real estate space within their building as well.
Interesting. So now with this Power Hive solution, how does it start to address some of those issues that you talked about?
Yeah, so you can see clearly that this is about 600 to 700 square feet. So it is a very compact system. So you're getting the real estate space back. So if you're a manufacturing company, you now can potentially open another manufacturing line. If you're a distribution, a logistics company, you can put racking in there. And now you have more inventory, you have more inventory turns, you become more profitable at the end of the day as well. Yeah. The big thing too, which I love, is the safety standpoint. So our customers who traditionally swap batteries, I was actually talking to a customer today, and they would pull the battery out, then they would put the battery back in the system, grab a new battery, and think about how many times that customer is touching that battery. That's so many times a day for a safety issue to happen. That's also decrease in productivity, downtime, things like that. The customer or the operator literally pops off the truck, walks over to a presence pad, hits a button, sits there for about 2.5 minutes while this system gets to reload their battery. So you're taking your operators completely out of handling batteries, and the operators are happier with the customers that we've deployed it in, and of course, increase in productivity makes everybody happy, right?
Of course, definitely. Yes. Yeah, and I think that's such a great thing, and I love the safety aspect too as well, because it is incredibly safe, right? And when you talked about having to switch those batteries manually, right? I mean, it's not light. for one, right? And there's a
Right.
lot of pinch points potentially as well.
Yes.
And like you said, it's also additional downtime where that productivity goes down as well, right? So, addressing that, and I think, bringing that efficiency to the process here can make a big difference, right? So
Yes.
I'm curious, what has been some of the feedback this week as people are coming here at the booth? I mean, we see right here, I mean, you guys are very busy. I've seen like all week so far. But what has been some of the feedback? What are people like, where are the light bulb moments kind of happening for people?
Yeah, so we actually have an ROI calculator here on site. So we're able
nice.
to run that and show companies exactly what they could potentially be saving when it does come to, we're talking about uptime, right? So, okay, today they're swapping batteries. Maybe it takes them 6 minutes, maybe it takes them 10 minutes. Well, what if we gave you 7 minutes back every single time a battery was swapped?
Yeah.
All of a sudden we're gonna see a high increase in productivity as well.
Yeah, we built the system. It's a customer-centric system, right? So in all of our experience, we're watching the customer have pain. So we just keep trying to eliminate everything that they see as pain. So when we went to the 141, like Kelly said, we realized it didn't eliminate pain. As a matter of fact, advanced chemistries, right, when they go out of service, it takes longer to fix. So there's more downtime. So you have more fleet, but you have to have more redundancy, which is more spend. So we came up with this system. Everything about the system is to address the customer problem. And it's about opportunity charging too. We talk about exchanging a battery, but you've got operator compliance plugging in, cut cables, connectors. We see operators plug the charger into the truck and not the battery.
I've experienced that,
Right.
myself, yeah.
And what it creates is time that operator is not moving product, right? They're not being efficient. So we start to look at the hours lost in their process, right? So we kind of dive into their facility and look at their process, soup to nuts all the way through, and then say, well, we can save you 5,000 hours a year. Now, can you move more pallets with that? If they say yes, well, what's the cost of a pallet to you, right? So now you're talking 7-figure ROIs in a very, very short period of time when you start to measure that at the facility level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's great. And yeah, you're giving me some flashbacks to some interesting times when I was an ops manager and coming in the morning and somebody's like, well, they didn't actually plug it into the battery, right? And, having all hands just to talk about that is a little frustrating, I would say. So taking that out, certainly I like that for sure, definitely. But I think those improvements certainly to the process make such a big difference, because I think when you have people that are working, I mean, you don't want them to be concentrated on swapping batteries, right? You want them to be concentrated on the work itself, right? And I think this helps to allow that focus to be there, right? And just taking 2 minutes or so to make the swap happen makes such a big difference to be able to make sure that focus maintains. Now, tell us a little bit about, because last year, right, at Modex was kind of like the unveiling of this. Remember, we saw you guys there, and we had it there. And we've also seen that, I see there's a counter back here, right, and some balloons too. You're celebrating 100,000 swaps, almost at 102,000 as we're recording right now. So tell us, over the last year, how has the interest grown? What are customers saying, or what are potential customers saying as well?
Yeah, I think a huge testament to the system itself is how many repeat customers we have. So you'll have a customer who deploys it at one location. They start seeing everything that we told them was going to happen in the ROI. And the great thing about our ROI is it's pretty conservative as well. Okay. So they're actually seeing greater return on investment, higher picks, things like that, compared to what we originally told them. So next thing you know, a site across the country is hearing about this, and they're also wanting to deploy one as well.
Gotcha, interesting. Yeah, and I think that's definitely like great feedback to hear. And tell us a little bit, I guess, to the reaction difference, right? Because like last year, right, it was first time seeing this for a lot of people, right? Now this year, maybe it's second time, maybe they've got a little familiar with it from seeing videos or whatever the case may be. So tell us kind of like the contrast there from Modex last year to ProMat this year.
So Modex was, we'll call it an unknown, but we had a really good show. So now that we've been in the market, it's been deployed, obviously the reload counter, right? People are starting to understand that it's real. And with new technology, customers get hesitant at times, right? We're seeing that hesitation wash away. So instead of worrying about walk-ups, right? Today we have been packed full, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. with appointments of prospective customers. And the thing that's happening, which is really cool, is we've got customers that have the system in the facilities today. They're coming to the booth and they're mingling with prospects.
Oh yeah.
And so when they say they're
Yeah.
selling for us, right?
That's good.
So that fear that the prospective customer has, when an actual customer says it does, exactly what they say it's going to do and more. And I've been selling for a long, long time, and I've never watched the customer have more fun buying something in the material handling space and then deploying it, right? I got to go to, I've been to most every facility, but I got to watch it flip live, like when they turned the electricity on just 2 weeks ago, and they had a whole room full of people there. They're watching the arm. They were bringing their customers in to show them. Every customer's named their arm.
Yes, I think this is the coolest part.
So you'll go see it at a facility, and they'll have a sign. One's Bob, right?
Yes.
We named ours Lucky for St. Patrick's Day.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so it's really, they have a lot of fun with it. And then the operators enjoy pushing the button, right? So all that operator compliance, worrying about over discharging, it's so easy to do. The operators love the interface with the system, so it pays it back, yep.
Yeah. What's the best name you've heard so far for the arm?
I mean, Bob,
I think Bob is pretty creative, so it's Battery Operator Buddy.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so I feel like Bob, when you hear Bob, you're like, oh, Bob, but
yeah, when I first heard it,
no offense to Bob, but but Battery Operator Buddy, I like that.
And they have the fanciest sign too.
They do. They have a very fancy
sign.
Very fancy sign, and it's so great to see the operators just get really excited about it, right? No one wants to change their battery. No one wants to just do the mundane things. But kind of to TJ's point is, oh my gosh, this is a whole new system. My company is investing in us and my safety, our productivity, things like that. They get really excited about.
You know, Kevin, you walk these shows all the time, and we've all been to them. And sometimes you'll go see a technology you like, and you go ask, hey, when can I have it? Well, it's not quite ready yet. Or how complicated is it to deploy? And you find out it's just not what you want it to be. The good news about this system is we deploy it in 3 days, right?
3 days, oh wow.
3 days. So we can drop this in your facility, and 3 days later, your trucks are moving in power. Because it's a pretty simple system, right? It's got batteries, chargers, some camera sensors, and a big robot. But the robot's still in a cell. So we're not interfacing with the environment, right? I don't have to worry about pallets or people. We've got all the sensors. So we're able to drop in 3 days and deliver. So there's a lot of skepticism around that. Can you really do that in 3 days?
Yeah.
And we do. So it's now that it's out in the field, again, I think that skepticism's kind of washing away, which is fun.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So somebody could essentially come to ProMat on a Monday and have it in their facility by Friday.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I would challenge someone to do that next year.
Yeah, we're in.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are in. Yeah. But I think that's great to hear too, because I think you want that quick deployment. You want to see the benefits right away, right? And it sounds like the benefits start to kick in right away, and that ROI is probably kicking in right away too. And I love the fact that you touched on kind of the user experience, like the actual forklift operator. Like, how are they going to interact with it, and how are they reacting to that? So are you seeing too where it's freeing up these operators to be able to do more? Because I imagine in some scenarios, like not every operator is going to be the one that's traditionally swapping batteries, right? Maybe there's like a dedicated person, or there's a couple people that do that, and then they're tied up with that resource as well.
Yeah.
So how does that kind of free up labor a little bit too, to get maybe more productivity, or be able to assign them to more tasks and get more out of them?
Yeah, so I mean, if you think about the maintenance of it, or the maintenance team from a swapping battery standpoint, they're now able to do more facility tasks, right? I always tell people, no one thinks about their batteries being down until the batteries are down, or no one thinks about your batteries until they fail. Now you're freeing up those people to go and help innovate the rest of the building, or take care of the rest of the building. And to your point, like the operators, if the operators are having to stop, plug in, do things like that, well, now they can go pick more, or it kind of gives them time back in their day as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's one thing that we learned early on, right, is the customers were giving us this feedback, and we didn't talk about throughput productivity at first. We were talking about peak shaving and all the system benefits. They came to us and said, we are more productive than we've ever been, right? Because it's very hard to understand. We can give the operator hours back, but are they going to use them? Right? The other thing the system has, it has telematics. So when a battery's reloaded, all the information's downloaded, but it ties to the cradle in the truck. So we have a customer dashboard. So I can go look at how their trucks are performing, right? And in every warehouse, there's sections of the facility that are doing a particular job, right? So are those group of trucks doing the same amount of work? Yes or no? So we can help guide them along the way as well. But they're coming back, I can't see their P&L, right? I don't know what it looks like. But at minimum, we've heard 5, up to 15%, right? We've had customers tell us they broke pick records. First week after deployment, back-to-back weeks, they've never picked more product, right? So those are the things that we're learning, and that's a part of this ROI now, is we really want to get in and say, if you can move more, how's that going to impact your P&L, right? And it's a competitive time, right? Our job is to have our customers deliver to their customers. If we do that right, then we'll be just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a super interesting thing to hear because, obviously here at ProMat we see tons of stuff like picking, for example, like, oh, this is going to take care of your picking, this is going to increase your picking. And I think maybe the first thing when people think about increasing picking productivity, they're probably not necessarily thinking about their battery swap, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's not necessarily like the first thing you think about with picking, but I think it makes so much more sense that it's freeing up that time, which is allowing them to continue to get on there. Because we talk about the idea of flow within the workspace, right? And once your employees get within that flow, when you disrupt that flow a little bit, the productivity tends to trail off, right? Slow down. So you can keep that flow going with just a quick swap, then that makes so much sense that productivity is increasing. It's great to hear that you got that feedback and now you're incorporating that into the ROI calculations. So very interesting stuff here with you both, and I really appreciate you inviting me into your booth and showing us the Power Hive and talking to us about it. But I'm curious, what does the future of Power Hive and Concentric look like?
So Power Hive specific, fully racked out, it's 3 cabinets. We can do 4 or 5, but the robot arm only moves so fast. So we're actually working on speeding it up so we can interface with a 4th cabinet, right, and do more trucks. We're looking at smaller 24-volt options, potentially, even though people are loving the 24-volt option here, but can we scale it down, right, for different types of facilities? And then the big thing from an energy perspective is tying our businesses together, right? As we talk about peak demand, we had a customer come by the booth that was looking at lithium. When they got to the amount of energy they were going to consume, they had to go to the utility. It was $1 million upgrade for them out of pocket to go lithium, right? So we're starting to talk with facilities about their power in general, right? So automating their warehouse, automating their office space, automating HVAC, and then how do you get off the grid? All right, how do we limit the grid? Because Kelly's based in Texas and customers have brownouts. And there's an energy rating in Texas, and if you're not above that energy rating, you're paying a premium. But when you talk to the customer about that, they're like, I don't even know how to get above that rating. I don't even know what's consuming the electricity in the building. So we're getting into managing and monitoring that, which then will lead to some other offerings that we have. So that's the future.
Very interesting, very interesting. Well, I appreciate you both joining me here and welcoming into your booth, right, to talk about this. If people want to learn more about Concentric and the Power Hive specifically, or other solutions you have, what's the best way to do that?
I say get a hold of us, call us.
Right.
Yeah, if you go onto the website, right, we have a BDR team that's been awesome this week helping us with all the leads. So we can answer you live, right, or if you email or call in, they'll answer live. And they're very qualified. They've learned a lot, so you can hit us up on the website, you can call us. Hopefully you see us in the field and you know our names and you can call us direct. But absolutely. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me, and check out Concentric. We'll put the link at thenewwarehouse.com and also in the show notes here, so make sure you check them out. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video here on our YouTube channel, The New Warehouse Podcast, and I appreciate you tuning in. If you liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and if you like this video in particular, make sure you like it as well. And if you want to get this great t-shirt that you see in the video behind me, Warehouses Are Sexy, head to warehousesaresexy.com and get your own.